On our previous video, we looked at how the James Webb Telescope was able to produce this wonderful image that shows so many interesting galaxies in the universe, and this crisp resolution was able to allow us to see how much more images that NASA will be able to produce. Like for example, the one at the background here, which we're going to reveal very soon, and their names, this right here, this another interesting image right here, and this interesting analysis of a specific exoplanet right over here. So in this video, we're going to look at what their names are, how many light years away they are from our specific Earth region, and also most importantly, what are the implications of these images with regards to our understanding of the cosmos. First, what do you notice between these two images as we see right here on our screen? What we notice here is that the image on our left side represents an image taken from the Hubble telescope, and this on the other side is taken by the James Webb Telescope. And this interesting contrast shows so many interesting details about what this specific image taken from the same location has to offer. Now, this location is called the Carina Nebula, and the Carina Nebula is located around 7,600 light years away from our specific Earth region. Now, this is a stellar nursery where stars are actually born, as we see in this particular region right here. This is really incredible analysis based on this particular image in terms of the clarity and also so many interesting spots to be aware of. Now, on the left side of your screen, this is actually a view that is taken 50 light years away, and what makes this here to be different from this on the right side of your screen is that the James Webb Telescope combines two cameras in order for we to reveal this wonderful detail and high resolution of this particular region. Now, the second location are actually two images, and these two images are kind of similar definitely to each other. One here just shows you groupings of photos that are actually grouped together to produce this overall photo that is right here. This photo doesn't really show too much of color that is introduced here. However, this introduced distinct colors and shows you how there are not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 galaxies that are performing some interesting interactions, as you see, not only in this region here and this region right here. Now, this particular location is actually called a Stephan's Quintet, and the Stephan's Quintet was actually discovered in the year 1787, and it is a constellation that is called Pegasus, and this Pegasus is located 290 million light years away from our specific Earth region. Now, the final interesting point to remember here is that this shows 5 galactical interactions, and these are as follows. 1, we have 2, we see the third one right here, we see the fourth one right over there, and finally we have the 5th one over there. Now, I'm kind of curious why they didn't count this one right over there, but the most important thing here is this particular region, and these regions are really instrumental in terms of how we can explore galactic evolution. Now, this shows a couple of interesting interactions between the third, the second to the 5th star according to my counting, and this shows that hey, there is some kind of a cosmic dance as we see right over here, as there is this groove that is shown around this particular space time, just put it that way. So it's really interesting to see how the Stephan's Quintet shows you so many interesting things from this particular interaction with galaxies. Now, the third location shows you 2 interesting images from the same location, and these 2 different images is from the location's southern ring nebula. And one interesting thing about the left side is that this was actually taken around the near infrared region. However, the one on the right side was taken really at the middle of the infrared region. Now, in terms of another name that this region is called the eighth burst, and this is located around this particular number 2000 light years away from our current location, which is Earth. Now, one interesting thing that you see in both images is that yes, we do have a dying star that is located at the center, and this dying star is showing some interesting release of gas cloud, and this gas cloud is actually expanding during this particular process. And this is really interesting and important because we are seeing how stars that are in this case evolving interact with their specific environment through this release of these gas clouds. Now, these gas clouds we can actually analyze in detail what type of gas are released in this process, how much energy from this particular star this actually involves, and many more things can be actually seen right here in terms of how much reach this expansion can actually go compared to this particular image right over here. Finally, we're going to be looking at the analysis based on what this particular telescope has to offer when we're looking at a specific region that is containing a specific exoplanet that is called the hot gas giant, or also known as WASP 69b. And this exoplanet was actually discovered in 2014, and it is located 1150 light years away from Earth. As you see right over here, the mass of this particular planet is 1/2 the mass of Jupiter, and in terms of the orbit around the star, which is highlighted in yellow, the orbit here is 3.4 days. So let's look at this particular space to see what this particular telescope was able to reveal to us. Now, looking at this particular analysis or graph, we see that the relationship between the relative brightness to that of the time in Baltimore, Maryland, revealed that, hey, as you go, or as this particular planet approaches this particular star, we see that there is a drop-off of the sunlight or the starlight, and then it picks right back up as it moves away from the star, taking it from this particular point of view, which is really interesting to see this actually being produced by the telescope. Now, another interesting and most captivating thing of this particular analysis is looking at the presence of water, and the presence of water based on the atmospheric composition revealed that it can exist as a cloud or as a hazel. And this is shown looking at this graph analysis between the amount of light that is blocked to that of the wavelength of light. And this is wonderful because we can actually see the varying wavelength of light for that particular exoplanet. Now, looking at the graph properly, we see that there are a couple of spikes that are noticed, and the important spikes based on the specific wavelength reveal the presence of water in 4 spots right over there. So this is really incredible to see this capacity being revealed by this telescope for this particular hot gas giant exoplanet. In conclusion, what are we able to derive from this particular telescope? We've seen the capacity of what this telescope has to offer, and I'm really excited to see much more analysis and also wonderful images based on first looking at the first image coming from the Carina Nebula, and this image revealed the birth of stars, and through this image we can actually look at various energies and also how stars evolve. And the next part here shows this particular region that is called the Stephan's Quintet, which shows the behavior of galaxies when they interact close proximity with each other, and this behavior can be evolving as over time in terms of how close they are, how gravity impacts the galaxies as they are within each other or within close proximity. And this is incredible to see this really seen in this particular image right here. The third one here shows you how a specific dying star, as shown in the Southern Ring Nebula, reveals how stars impact on their environment through the release of gas clouds that are expanding and how that gas expansion influence the environment around it. And finally here we see the impact of how the composition of its atmosphere for an exoplanet can reveal the presence of water and ask the question about whether there is life on that particular planet. So I hope you found this really informative. Please hit the comment down below. Let me hear your thoughts about this. Any other interesting ideas that may have come to your mind and you like to share in the comment section, please put it down there and let's know your thoughts. All the same, stay smart as always and believe in yourselves.